just grieving a person. You're grieving a story that never got to live. The plans, the laughter, the one days that never came. That ache you feel, it's the pain of almost. Almost together. Almost forever. Almost happy. It's real, it's raw. And if you're still replaying what could have been, that's okay. Because this is where the healing begins. Not to erase the story, but to finally make peace with what never became. Chapter 1. Face the void. Admit what's missing. There's a hollow space inside you right now. It's not just sadness or disappointment, it's a void carved out by what never fully took shape. You know it's there. That empty spot where a future should have been. You keep pretending it's not real because facing it feels unbearable. But healing doesn't begin with denial. You can't heal what you refuse to name. That emptiness, it's the ghost of what never was, haunting your quiet moments. So look at it, feel it. Stop running from it. You're not imagining this void. It's real. It's the space where late night calls never came through. The texts that never popped up on your phone. The hugs that never landed. Those moments don't just live in your memoir, they live in your heart's unspoken truth. They whisper what you longed for, but never received. And it hurts. It's painful because these aren't just lost moments. They are fragments of your soul waiting to be acknowledged. You can't heal what you won't admit is missing. It's time to face it head on. You have to stare into that empty space and say, this hurt matters. This absence matters. If you keep pretending the void isn't there, it grows bigger. It swallows your hope and your ability to believe in joy again. But when you confront it, when you give it a name and a place, it starts to lose its power over you. Write it down. Pour out the truth onto paper. What do you miss? What did you hope for that never came? Write the late night calls that never arrived, the words you wanted to hear but never did. Write the hugs that never happened, the warmth you craved in cold moments. Writing is not just an act, it's a declaration. It's you telling yourself that your pain is valid. Your unfulfilled desires are real. Your heart's silence is not a void to be feared, but a cry to be heard. Say it out loud if you need to. Speak to the empty room or the quiet night. Admit what you lost. Say the names of the moments that slipped away. Hear your own voice say the things you never got to say to the person you wished could be there. This is not weakness. This is strength. You are breaking the silence. You are giving voice to the ghost that's haunted you. Stop pretending this void will disappear on its own. It won't. The only way it shrinks is by your willingness to see it. The only way it fades is by your courage to confront it without flinching. You don't have to fill it with someone else's promises or distractions. You don't have to plaster over it with false hope or what-ifs. You have to sit with it until it feels less like emptiness and more like a part of your story. This is hard, it's raw, but it's necessary. If you keep running, you delay your healing. You keep hoping for something that might never come. You keep holding on to a shadow, a maybe, a what-if. You don't need their apology to heal. This isn't about them anymore. It's about you. Your peace, your future, your life waiting for you on the other side of this pain. The void inside you is not a sign of failure. It's a sign of love. The love you gave. The love you hoped for. The love you still deserve. It's okay to mourn what never became. It's okay to feel that ache deep in your chest, but don't let it consume you. Face it, name it, and let it guide you towards something better. You might feel like you're the only one with this kind of pain. Like no one else understands the ache of almost. But you're not alone. Many have stood where you stand holding the space for loss that isn't visible to the world. They've learned to embrace the void instead of fearing it. They They've learned that healing starts with honesty. You can do this. You have to do this. Every time you notice yourself running from the emptiness, remind yourself, you can't heal what you refuse to name. That empty space is real. It's yours, and it needs your attention. When the loneliness creeps in, don't shut it out. Invite it in. Sit with it. Ask it what it wants you to know. Because healing is not about filling the void with distractions, it's about understanding it, accepting it, and moving through it. You might feel stuck right now, like the pain will last forever, but it won't. The moment you admit what's missing, you break the cycle of running and hoping and waiting. You start to reclaim your power. You start to build a new foundation rooted in truth, not illusion. You stop chasing shadows. This is the turning point. The moment you stop pretending the void isn't there. The moment you give yourself permission to grieve what never was. This isn't easy. It won't be quick, but it will be real. And real is the only way forward. So write it down. Say it out loud. Feel the empty space. Name the ghost. Because the void only shrinks when you stop pretending it's not there. You have to let go. Stop waiting for closure that might never come. They already showed you who they are. Now, show yourself who you are without them. This isn't about them anymore. It's about you. Your healing begins here, with honesty, with courage, with facing the void. And when you're ready, when you've faced the silence and named the pain, you'll be prepared to take the next step, to stop chasing shadows, to let go of what could have been. That is where the real healing begins. Chapter 2. Stop chasing shadows. Let go of what could have been. Your mind will lie to you. It will whisper in the quiet moments, the dark hours when your defenses are down, the times you are most vulnerable. It will say, if only you had said this. If only you had done that. Maybe next time, things will be different. Those words are traps. Not hope. Not possibilities, just traps. They keep you stuck, spinning in a loop of what never was and what never will be. You have to see it clearly. You are chasing a ghost of phantom that never showed up. You are running after a story that never had a chance to be written. Those what-ifs and could-have-beens are nothing but shadows on the wall, illusions your mind casts to keep you tethered to pain that serves no one. You have to let go. Stop waiting for closure that will never come from what was never whole. They already showed you who they are not with grand gestures, not with promises, but with absence, hesitation, and silence. Mind is a master storyteller. It crafts beautiful tales, scenes painted with vibrant colors and perfect endings. You imagine conversations that never happened, apologies that never came, and futures that were only ever fantasies. But those stories are not real. They are a perfect lie. And the longer you hold on to them, the deeper the wound grows. You don't need that lie. You need the messy, painful truth. It's ugly, yes. It's raw and ragged and hard to swallow. But it's real. And healing begins with reality, not illusion. So stop chasing shadows. Stop twisting yourself into knots over what could have been. Your energy is precious. It's limited. You cannot waste it on ghosts. The memory of what never fully existed will drain you faster than any heartbreak over something that was. It keeps you frozen. It keeps you stuck in a place where no healing can take root. You have to cut the cord on fantasy. You have to choose truth, even when it hurts. This isn't about them anymore. It's about you. It's about reclaiming your heart from illusions and lies. It's about telling yourself the honest story, no matter how painful. You deserve that much. You deserve to be free from the chains of if only and maybe. You deserve to find peace beyond the emptiness of what never came to be. What does this look like in practice? It means catching yourself when your thoughts drift to those illusions. When your mind starts spinning the if only narratives, stop it. Say out loud, "This is not real. This is not my truth." Repeat it until it sinks in. You need to become your own anchor in the storm of your mind. It means setting boundaries with your thoughts. Don't let yourself ruminate endlessly. When you catch yourself chasing ghosts, shift. Get up. Move. Change the scenery. Talk to someone who grounds you. Write down the truth you already know. They didn't show up. They weren't ready. They chose not to be present. That's the real story. It means embracing the pain of reality instead of numbing it with fantasy. Feel the ache of loss for what never was. Cry if you have to. Scream if you need to. But don't let your heart cling to a version of the story that only exists in your head. You're not betraying your pain by accepting the truth. You are honoring it. You don't need their apology to heal. You don't need the perfect ending or the fairy tale reunion. You need to accept the imperfect truth and give yourself permission to move on. There is nothing brave about holding on to a shadow. The real courage is in letting go. This is your turning point. The moment you stop chasing illusions, you begin to reclaim your power. You begin to clear the space inside you for something real, something that will not break you again. It's messy and it's slow, but it's the only way forward. You already faced the void. You admitted what's missing. Now you have to stop filling that void with fantasies that only deepen your pain. You have to stop spinning stories that keep you bound to someone who never fully arrived. You have to choose the messy, painful truth over a perfect lie. Remember, you have to let go. Stop waiting for closure. They already showed you who they are. This isn't about them anymore, it's about you. You're not chasing a future, you're chasing a ghost. And ghosts don't hold the keys to your healing. When you can finally release those shadows, you make room for your truth. You make space for your growth, for your healing, for your life. This is hard, it's raw, but it's necessary. You are not weak for facing this. You are strong for choosing reality over fantasy, for choosing yourself over a story that never had a chance. And as you step into that truth, you'll be ready for the next part of your journey. It's time now to own your role. Take responsibility without blame. Because healing isn't about punishment or guilt. It's about owning your part so you can finally set yourself free. Chapter 3. Own your role. Take responsibility without blame. You didn't get here by accident. This heartbreak, this ache, it's not just about what they did or didn't do. It's about your choices too. And I mean that without blame, without shame. It's about owning your part fully and honestly so you don't get stuck in the endless loop of if only. This isn't a punishment, but a kind of power. The power to see clearly what you want, what you don't, and where you stumbled. You have to lean into this truth because it's the first step out of the darkness. You have to stop thinking this pain is theirs alone. It isn't. Heartbreak is a tangled web of two stories, two sets of choices, two hearts that beat in different rhythms and sometimes out of sync. You can't rewrite their story. You can't change what they did or said, but you can look at your own role with brutal honesty. That's where your power lies. When you accept your role, you reclaim control. You take away their power to haunt your nights and your days. This is not about blaming yourself until you're drowning in guilt. That's a trap. Guilt is a heavy chain that keeps you stuck. Instead, think of this as reflection, a clear mirror held up to your soul. It's not about punishment. It's about understanding. When you reflect with kindness and honesty, you find the lessons hidden beneath the pain. You realize what you truly want, what you absolutely don't want. and where you missed the signs or ignored your own boundaries. You might hear that voice in your head whispering, "You should have seen this coming," or "You were too trusting." That voice isn't the enemy, but it can become one if you let it run wild. Use it as a guide, not a judge. Ask yourself, what did I want from this? What did I settle for? Where did I ignore my own needs? These questions are not traps. They're keys. Each answer unlocks a piece of your healing. You have to stop waiting for closure from them. They already showed you who they are. No apology, no explanation, no second chance will change that. But you owe it to yourself to understand your own part. You owe it to yourself to stop chasing shadows and start owning your story. Because healing begins when you stop pointing fingers outward and start looking inward with courage. This means facing uncomfortable truths. Maybe you ignored red flags because you wanted to believe in the possibility. Maybe you didn't speak up when something didn't feel right. Maybe you made excuses for behavior that hurt you. That's human. That's real. But now, you have to take responsibility without beating yourself up. It's okay to be flawed. It's okay to have made mistakes. The point is to learn from them so you don't repeat the same patterns. When you own your role, you reclaim your narrative. You stop being the victim of what happened and start being the author of your next chapter. This is where healing truly begins, not in blaming them, not in hoping they change, but in honest self-accountability. This clarity is your foundation. From here, you build strength, boundaries, and the wisdom to recognize what's healthy for you. Reflection isn't a one-time event. It's a process. Some days, you'll feel proud of how far you've come. Other days, the guilt and regret will sneak back in. When that happens, remind yourself, this isn't about perfection. It's about progress. You don't have to forgive yourself overnight. You just have to keep showing up and looking honestly at your choices. Stop thinking about what you could have done differently to make them stay. Stop running scenarios in your mind that only feed your pain. Instead, start asking, what am I learning about myself through this? What boundaries do I need to set moving forward? What kind of love do I deserve? These are the questions that lead to real change. It's tempting to believe that if you just fix your mistakes, things would have turned out differently. But that's not how it works. You can't control their actions or the course of the relationship. You can only control what you do next. And that starts with owning your role without blame. It starts with saying, I'm responsible for my choices. I'm ready to learn. I'm ready to move forward. You have to stop giving your power away. When you hold yourself accountable, you take back the power that heartbreak tried to steal. You stop being a passive player in your own life and become the one steering the ship. That's the difference between being stuck and healing. Think about the relationship as a mirror. What did it reflect back to you? What parts of yourself did you hide, ignore, or deny? What parts did you discover or embrace? Reflection isn't about finding fault. It's about understanding your truth. And your truth is the foundation of your healing. You might be afraid that if you own your role, it means you're to blame. But that's not the same thing. Owning your role means being honest with yourself. Blame keeps you trapped in the past. Ownership sets you free. It's the difference between being a prisoner of what happened and being a survivor who grows stronger. You don't need their apology to heal. You don't need their explanation or recognition. You need your own clarity and your own courage. When you find that, no one can take it from you. No one can rewrite your story or steal your peace. Healing begins with this hard truth. You played a part. Not because you're at fault, but because you're human. And humans make choices sometimes good, sometimes not so good. When you stop blaming and start owning, you stop waiting for something outside yourself to fix what's inside. You reclaim your power to heal from the inside out. This is how you break free from the cycle of heartbreak. This is how you stop chasing what never was and start building what can be. It's not easy. It's raw. It's painful. But it's real. You have to let go of the fantasy that someone else's actions are the only reason you're hurting. This isn't about them anymore, it's about you. About your healing. About your growth. About your future. So ask yourself again, what did I want? What didn't I want? Where did I stumble? And then listen. Really listen. Because those answers will guide you out of the dark. You don't have to carry this pain forever. You don't have to replay the story in your head until it breaks you. Instead, take responsibility without blame. Own your role with honesty and kindness. In that ownership lies your freedom. And once you've done that, you'll be ready for the next step. You'll be ready to silence the replay, the endless cycle of rumination that keeps you stuck in the past. That's where the real healing begins. Chapter 4. Silence the replay. Break the cycle of rumination. Your mind won't stop. It plays the same scenes over and over. Those words you never said. The conversations you wish you'd had. The signs you missed. The moments that could have been something else if only you'd seen them differently. It's a loop. A relentless, exhausting loop. Your brain is stuck on repeat, spinning the same questions, the same what-ifs and if-onlys. And every time it does, it pulls the wound open again. You think you're healing, but you're just replaying the pain. You're making yourself hurt over and over. This is how rumination works. It's your mind's cruel habit of chewing the same pieces of old pain. It's like a broken record stuck in the worst part of the song. You're not imagining it, you really are trapped inside your own head. The harder you try to silence it, the louder it becomes. But here's the truth. The problem isn't that these thoughts exist. The problem is that you're letting them run the show. You are your own tormentor. You're the one opening the door to that relentless replay. You have to stop, not just in theory, but in practice. You have to interrupt the loop. And that means action. Not just waiting for time to heal, not just hoping you'll wake up one day and the thoughts won't be there. You have to make a move. You have to refuse to be a passive prisoner of your own mind. Start with small things. Write it down. Journaling isn't just about venting. It's about getting the noise out of your head and onto paper. When you write the thoughts, you take power away from them. They don't have to live inside your brain anymore. You see them as separate, as something you can control. Each word you put on a page is a step away from that endless mental replay. Movement helps too. Go for a walk. Run. Dance in your room if you have to. Physical activity changes your chemistry. It distracts your brain with something new. It forces your body and mind to focus somewhere other than the past. When you move, you interrupt the cycle. You break the pattern. You remind yourself that you are alive, that you are still here. Talking helps. Find a friend. Someone who listens without judgment. Someone who lets you say the things you keep inside. Sometimes the worst part of rumination is the silence. The thoughts echo louder when you hold them alone. Sharing them can shrink their power. It's not about getting advice or answers. It's about being heard, being understood, being less alone. You have to refuse to be your own tormentor. You have to say no to the endless rerun of pain. You have to protect your mind from itself. This is hard. This is not a quick fix or a magic cure, but it is necessary. You deserve peace. You deserve rest from the mental assault. Train your mind to focus on now. Not the almost, not the what could have been. The present moment. This is brutal, I know. Your mind will fight you every step of the way. It will nag you with questions and doubts. It will pull you back into the past like a magnet. But you have to fight back. You have to push your thoughts away from the almost and into the now. You do this by choice, by practice, by patience with yourself. Meditation, mindfulness, grounding exercise, these aren't just buzzwords. They are tools to help you reclaim your attention, to help you notice what is real in this moment instead of what might have been real if things had gone differently. You have to remind yourself again and again, this isn't about them anymore. This is about you, your healing, your peace. It's okay to feel the pain, but do not drown in it. Accept that the past can't be changed. You have to let go of the almost, because it keeps you stuck. The almost is a trap. It keeps you living in a world that never existed. That world died the moment things fell apart. You have to live here in the messy, imperfect present. Remember the lessons you've already learned. You don't need their apology to heal. You don't need closure from them. They showed you who they are. You saw it, even when you didn't want to. Let that be enough. You have to stop waiting for a story that won't come. Instead, build a new story with the pieces you have now. Breaking the cycle of rumination isn't about erasing the past. It's about refusing to live in it. It's about choosing to be present with yourself, even when it hurts. It's about taking your power back from the relentless mind that wants to keep you trapped in pain. So when you catch yourself spiraling, catch yourself replaying the conversations, the signs, the what-ifs, stop. Take a breath. Grab a pen. Move your body. Call a friend. Interrupt the loop. These actions are your lifelines. They pull you out of the darkness and into the light of now. You are not helpless. You are not doomed to live in this replay forever. This is hard work, but it is the path forward. You are learning to hold your pain without letting it consume you. This chapter isn't just about stopping the mental noise. It's about reclaiming your mind. It's about giving yourself permission to heal on your terms. The pain of almost is a heavy weight, but you don't have to carry it in silence. You don't have to carry it alone. You have tools. You have choices. You have the strength to break the cycle. The moment you decide to act is the moment you begin to change the story. Keep going. Keep choosing yourself. Keep silencing the replay. This is how you move from the pain of almost toward the possibility of peace. This is the step before the next. Feel without drowning. Navigate the pain safely. Because now, with the noise quieter, you can learn to sit with your feelings without being overwhelmed by them. You can learn to feel deeply and still breathe. That is where your true healing begins. Chapter 5. Feel without drowning. Navigate the pain safely. Pain is honest. It's raw and real, and it demands your attention. You can't fake it or talk your way around it. It shows up uninvited, unfiltered, and it insists you feel it. That pain is necessary. It's a signal. It's proof that what you had mattered, that what you lost mattered. But here's the catch. The pain doesn't have to swallow you whole. You don't have to drown in it. You can feel without losing yourself. You must. You're not weak for hurting. You're not broken for needing time. But you are responsible for how you carry that pain. It's a heavy weight, yes, but it doesn't get to control the whole of your life if you refuse to let it. You will feel it. You will grieve. But you also have to live. These aren't opposing forces. They're parts of the same process. Learn to hold both. Grieve with intention. Live with courage. Set boundaries boundaries around your feelings. It sounds strange, but it's true. Decide when the pain gets your attention and when it steps back. Give yourself permission to sit with your grief fully and fiercely, but only for a set time. Maybe it's 10 minutes in the morning or 15 before bed. Time blocks that belong to your sadness, your anger, your confusion. And then, when that time is up, shift your focus. Step into the world. Engage with your day. Do the things that keep you standing. Because there is a time to cry, and there is a time to breathe, a time to remember, and a time to forget. Both are sacred. If you let the pain spill over all day, every day, you will lose yourself. You'll become a prisoner to memories and what-ifs. You'll stop noticing the world around you, the small joys, the moments that still hold light. That's not healing. That's sinking. So, draw a line. You don't have to be numb, but you do have to be intentional. Pain is part of your story, not the whole story. Lean into discomfort like a muscle. This isn't easy. No one said it would be. But every time you face the hurt instead of running, you build strength. Every moment you allow yourself to feel the sting, the ache, the loneliness, you're training your heart to be resilient. It gets easier, not because the pain disappears, but because you become tougher. You develop a tolerance for it. You learn how to hold it without breaking. Discomfort is not your enemy. It's your teacher. It's the gym where your emotional muscles grow. You'll want to avoid it. You'll want to numb it with distractions, with endless scrolling, with anything that takes your mind off the ache. But those escapes only delay the inevitable. The pain waits for you. It waits for you to show up. So show up. Sit with the discomfort. Feel it fully. Let it move through you. This practice won't erase the hurt overnight, but it will change your relationship with it. You'll find that the sharp edges soften a bit. The weight feels lighter. You'll still stumble. You'll still fall. But you'll get up faster because you know how to survive the pain. You're not running from it anymore. You're learning to live alongside it. Remember, this isn't about forgetting or pretending it never happened. It's about making peace with the part of your life that didn't turn out the way you dreamed. That's the truth of heartbreak. It's messy, complicated, and it leaves marks. But those marks don't have to define you. You define you. You have to let go of the idea that pain controls your destiny. Stop waiting for closure from them. They already showed you who they are. This isn't about them anymore. It's about you. You don't need their apology to heal. You don't need their explanation to move forward. You need to set your own limits. You need to decide when the pain gets to speak and when it steps aside. Set a schedule for your sorrow if you must. Give it a corner of your life, not the whole room. Write it down if that helps. From 6 to 6:15, I'm allowed to be sad. After that, I choose to engage with life. And then stick to it. Be strict with yourself. It's a form of self-respect. It's saying, I honor my feelings, but I refuse to be ruled by them. Balance between feeling and functioning is where healing begins. It's a tightrope walk. Some days you'll tip too far into despair. Others you'll push too hard to act like everything's fine. Both extremes are part of the journey. The goal is to find the center. The place where you can feel pain and still move forward. Where you can say, yes, this hurts deeply. And yes, I will keep living. Lean into that tension. Let it stretch you. Like a muscle, it grows stronger under strain. The more you practice sitting with your feelings without losing yourself, the more resilient you become. The pain won't go away completely, but it won't control you anymore. You'll carry it differently. Lightly, even, with awareness, with strength. Don't beat yourself up when you fall back into old patterns, the replaying, the ruminating, the spiraling. It happens. You're human. But each time you catch yourself, remind yourself, you're learning, you're practicing, you're getting stronger. The pain is honest. It's necessary. But it's not your whole life. This is the work of healing. It's not glamorous. It's not quick. It's slow and often brutal. But it's the only way out of the emptiness. You have to feel without drowning. You have to grieve without losing yourself. You have to hold your pain with boundaries and strength. Only then can you begin to write a new story. This is not the end. It's a passage, a bridge, a stepping stone. And on the other side is something different, something better. That's the promise of healing. The promise that what never became doesn't have to steal your future. Now you're ready for the next step. It's time to rewrite your story, to create new meaning from loss. Because your story isn't over. It's just beginning. Chapter 6. Rewrite your story. Create new meaning from loss. Your heartbreak is a chapter, not the whole book. Say it again, out loud if you have to. This moment, this pain, this loss. It's a single part of your story. It doesn't define you. It doesn't decide your ending. You get to write what comes next. Yes, you. Even now, with your heart raw and your mind spinning, you hold the pen. This isn't just about surviving what broke. It's about creating something new from the wreckage. You're standing in the ruins of what almost was. It's tempting to stay there, lost in the what-ifs, the if-onlys, the endless replay of scenes that never fully unfolded. But here's the truth no one else will say to you. Those almost moments aren't your failure. They're your starting point. They're where you learn what matters, what doesn't, and who you really are beneath the pain. You have to let go of the illusion that this loss is the final chapter. It's not. It's a comma, a breath, a new line waiting to be written. Look closely at the wreckage. What do you see? Not just broken dreams, but lessons. Hard, painful lessons, yes, but lessons nonetheless. Maybe you learned your worth isn't tied to someone else's presence or absence. Maybe you discovered where your boundaries were too blurred, too flexible, too invisible. Maybe you found out how brave you can be when you face the truth alone at 2 a.m. These lessons are your treasure buried under the rubble. Dig for them. Pull them out, one by one, and hold them close. This isn't about blaming yourself for what didn't happen. It's about owning your part so you don't repeat the same heartbreak disguised in new forms. You already know the patterns. Now, rewrite them. Write yourself differently. Stop waiting for someone else to give you meaning or direction. That's the work of your own hands. Stop thinking about what you lost and start thinking about what you're building. Turn almost into fuel. That empty space inside you, fill it with your own fire. It's easy to get stuck believing that your story is incomplete because it ended too soon, that your future is just a shadow of what might have been. But imagine for a moment that your future isn't a replacement or a consolation prize. Imagine it's a blank page, a wide open field where you plant the seeds you want to grow. This isn't about forgetting. It's about transforming, about turning pain into power, loss into a roadmap towards something better. What do you want next? Not what you thought you wanted, not the version of life you scripted in your mind when hope was still alive in that almost relationship. What do you want now from this place of clarity and courage? Write it down. Say it to yourself. Hold it steady. This is your new story, your new truth, your new way forward. Stop living in the shadow of what never became. Stop chasing echoes that fade. You don't need their apology to heal. You don't need closure from them because this isn't about them anymore. It's about you. You have to let go. Release the hold that almost has on your heart. It's a weight, and it's keeping you from moving. You deserve to step into the light, even if your hands are shaking. This process isn't a straight line. It's messy. It's dark. It's full of doubt and fear. But it's also filled with moments where you surprise yourself with your own strength. When you catch a glimpse of hope in the smallest things. When you make a choice to care for yourself, not out of obligation, but out of fierce love for who you are becoming. That's the story you need to write. Writing your story means changing the narrative you tell yourself every time your mind drags you back to the past. Instead of "I was almost happy," say "I am building happiness." Instead of "I lost what could have been," say "I am creating what will be." These aren't just words. They're anchors. They're lifelines. They pull you out of the quicksand of regret and plant your feet firmly in the present. Ask yourself, what boundaries do you need to set to protect this new story? What old habits, toxic thoughts, or unhealthy relationships must you leave behind to keep writing with clarity and strength? This is about more than surviving heartbreak. It's about thriving despite it. It's about choosing yourself every day, even when it feels impossible. It's okay to mourn the almost, to grieve what never fully blossomed. But don't let that grief become a cage. Let it be the doorway. Walk through it. Step into a new chapter where you are not defined by loss, but by resilience. Where your scars are reminders of battles won, not just wounds inflicted. You might feel like you're walking alone in the dark right now. But remember, you are not your loneliness. You are not your pain. You are the author of your healing. You get to decide what this story looks like moving forward. You get to fill the blank pages with courage, wisdom, and fierce love for yourself. The pain of almost doesn't have to be the end. It can be the beginning. You don't owe anyone else your healing. You don't need permission to move on. Stop waiting for closure, for signs, for validation. Start giving yourself those things. Start rewriting your story with the parts you choose to keep and the parts you choose to leave behind. This is your life, your narrative, your power. The heartbreak is real. The ache is deep. But you are deeper, stronger, braver than you realize. You have to remind yourself of this every day, especially when the night feels endless and the silence deafening. You are more than what almost was. You are everything you decide to become. Now take this truth with you as you prepare to set fierce boundaries. Protect your heart moving forward. Because rewriting your story means creating space where your future can grow. Safe, strong, and true. Your next chapter starts with the courage to say no, to guard your peace, and to honor your worth. You're not done yet, not by a long shot. This heartbreak is just one chapter. The rest, that's all you. Chapter 7. Set fierce boundaries. Protect your heart moving forward. Almost love left scars. It didn't break you, but it showed you cracks. Those cracks are not flaws, they're lessons. They're warnings. They tell you exactly what you won't accept again. This is your armor now. Wear it. Don't hide it or soften it to make others comfortable. Your pain taught you boundaries. If you ignore that wisdom, you're inviting the same heartbreak back in. You have to protect your heart. Fiercely. You learned the hard way that almost isn't enough. Almost isn't love. Almost is what happens when someone isn't all in. And you deserve all in. Not half, not maybe, not someday. The moment you recognize what almost did to you, you gain power. This power means saying no. No without shame. No without apology. No without twisting yourself into knots trying to explain or justify. Your peace is more important than pleasing others. Always. Say it again. Your peace is more important than pleasing others. This is not selfish. It is survival. It is self-respect. People will push. They will test your limits. They will try to guilt you into bending. They will say, "You're too sensitive," or "You're overreacting," or "It's not that serious." Let them say it. You don't owe anyone a defense for protecting your heart. You don't owe them your peace. Healthy boundaries are not walls. Don't mistake them for shutting down or isolating yourself. Boundaries are gates. Gates you control. Gates you open only for those who respect you, who value your time and your heart. Not everyone gets in. Not everyone deserves your energy. This is your gatekeeper role. It's tough. It's necessary. You decide who crosses that line. Almost love blurred your lines before. It made you question what you deserved. You settled for less because you thought less was better than nothing. But now you know better. You know your worth. You know your limits. You know what to accept and what to shut down immediately. That knowledge isn't just theory. It's your new rule book. Follow it. Protect your heart like your life depends on it, because it does. It's okay to say no to people who don't honor your time. It's okay to say no to people who make you feel less than. It's okay to say no to invitations, conversations, and situations that drain you. Saying no doesn't mean you're mean or unkind. It means you're smart. It means you value yourself enough to stop the cycle that almost love trapped you in. You don't have to explain yourself. Your no is enough. When you set boundaries, you might feel guilty at first. That's normal. You've been trained to put others first, to avoid conflict, to keep everyone happy. But guilt is a liar. Guilt is the echo of old programming. You can rewrite that script. You can say yes to yourself without guilt, without apologies. You can honor your needs. You can protect your peace. You must. Remember, boundaries are not punishments. They are protections. They create space for healing. They create space for growth. When you say no, you're saying yes to your future. Yes to better relationships. Yes to healthier love. Yes to belonging somewhere you're truly valued. This isn't about building walls to keep everyone out. It's about creating gates only worthy people can pass through. Almost love didn't respect your boundaries before. That's why it almost worked. Now you know better. You know that your boundaries are sacred. You know they're non-negotiable. You know your heart is not a playground for uncertainty or inconsistency. Your heart deserves clarity, respect, and unwavering honesty. If someone can't give you that, they don't get in. Think about the people in your life. Who respects your limits? Who listens when you say no? Who shows up without strings attached? These are the people who belong inside your gate. These are the ones you protect fiercely. They don't drain your energy, they add to it. They don't question your worth, they affirm it. They don't confuse you, they bring peace. Your boundaries are your future guardrails. Use them to steer away from heartbreak. Use them to stop the cycle of almost love. Use them to keep you safe until you're ready to love again. And when that time comes, your boundaries will serve you then too. They won't keep love out, they'll keep the right love in. The love that's whole, honest, and real. Don't wait for someone else to respect your boundaries. Respect them yourself first. Stand firm in your truth. Stand firm even when it feels uncomfortable. Stand firm even when you want to please. Your heart's healing depends on it. Your peace depends on it. Your next chapter depends on it. You've faced the void before. You've sat with the pain without drowning. You've stopped chasing shadows. Now, it's time to own your power. Own your no. Own your peace. Own your boundaries. Let them be the armor that protects you from the almosts that come knocking again. You don't need anyone's permission to protect yourself. You don't need anyone's approval to say no. You don't need anyone's validation to keep your heart safe. This isn't about them anymore, it's about you. It's about giving yourself the love you didn't get, the love you deserve, the love you must demand from the world moving forward. You have the wisdom now. Use it. Let it guide every choice you make. Let it guard every corner of your heart. Let it remind you that your peace is more important than pleasing others. Let it remind you that your boundaries aren't walls, they're gates you control. This is your fight. This is your healing. Set fierce boundaries. Protect your heart, because the pain of almost taught you exactly what you won't accept. And that knowledge is your greatest strength. Next, we'll reclaim something precious, your time. You'll learn to invest in yourself relentlessly, because your healing isn't just about what you say no to, it's about what you say yes to. And that's coming up. Chapter 8, Reclaim Your Time. Invest in yourself relentlessly. Stop waiting. Stop waiting for some grand sign, some cosmic signal, some perfect moment when everything lines up and you're allowed to move on. Closure is a myth you've been sold to keep you stuck in place. It's a neat ending that rarely exists. You deserve better than waiting in limbo, hoping for a resolution that might never come. Your time is now, not tomorrow, not when you're ready. Now. The clock is ticking, and it's not counting down to their forgiveness or the return of what never fully arrived. It's counting down to your freedom. You have to reclaim your time. Every minute you spend lingering in the past, replaying the almost moments, is a minute lost to the future you could be building. It's brutal, but it's true. You don't get this time back. What you do with it is everything. You don't need their apology to heal. You don't need their explanation. They already showed you who they are. That's enough. You have what you need to start living again. Dive into yourself like your life depends on it, because it does. This isn't about distraction or forgetting. It's about filling your world with things that light you up, that pull you forward, that remind you who you are beneath the heartbreak. Your passions, your friendships, your growthies are not just hobbies or side notes. They are the pillars of your new existence. Build a life so full, so undeniably yours, that they almost can't find a foothold. There will be moments when you feel like you're just going through the motions. That's okay. Healing is not linear. It's messy and nonlinear, but it's happening. Every time you choose to spend time on yourself, you're making a statement. You're saying, I am worth the effort. You're telling your broken heart that it doesn't get to dictate your worth anymore. Self-care isn't selfish. It's survival. Every moment spent on self-care is a brick in the foundation of your new self. It might be a bubble bath, a walk in the park, reading a book that inspires you, or setting a boundary that protects your fragile heart. These are not small acts. They are revolutionary. They are declarations that you will not be defined by what never became. Stop thinking you need their permission to move on. You don't. You don't need a sign from them or from the universe. You don't need to wait for the pain to disappear before you start living again. You have to live through the pain. You have to live with it beside you, not behind you, not in front of you, but right there as you build something new. This isn't about forgetting. It's about choosing to put your energy somewhere better. Your friendships are your lifelines. Now is the time to lean into them harder than ever. Call the people who know your story, but don't judge your pain. Spend time with those who make you laugh when you feel like you might break. Let their presence remind you that you are not alone. Almost love left scars, yes, but it didn't break you. Your people see those cracks and still hold you. Let them. Growth is not just about fixing what's broken. It's also about discovering what's waiting beneath the surface. You are more than your heartbreak. You are more than the almost that never fully arrived? What if this pain is the soil where your new life takes root? What if your heartbreak is the beginning of the story that finally puts you first? That's the truth you need to hold on to. This isn't about them anymore, it's about you. Every time you choose growth, you reclaim power. You reclaim the narrative. You rewrite the story from what if to what's next. You don't need to understand everything right now. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to keep moving forward, brick by brick, moment by moment, day by day. It's okay to feel lost. It's okay to feel angry. It's okay to feel scared. These feelings don't mean you're failing. They mean you're human. You have to feel without drowning. You've learned that already. Now, take that lesson and use it to fuel your relentless investment in yourself. Stop waiting for closure. Stop waiting for permission. It's not coming. Your time is now. Invest in yourself the way you would invest in the most precious thing in your life, because that's exactly what you are. Your healing, your growth, your joy are the best investments you will ever make. The dividends will come in the form of peace, strength, and a heart that beats fiercely for itself. When the night feels too dark, when the memories press in like a weight on your chest, remind yourself, you are building a life so full they can't be almost in it. You are filling your days with purpose, with love for yourself, and with the courage to keep going. This is how you move from surviving to thriving. You don't have to wait for the pain to subside. You don't have to wait for the stars to align. You don't have to wait for anyone else to give you permission to live fully. Your time is now. Start with one small act of care today. Maybe it's setting a boundary. Maybe it's saying yes to a friend. Maybe it's picking up that hobby that's been sitting on the sidelines. Whatever it is, do it relentlessly. Do it fiercely. Do it for you. You've faced the void. You've stopped chasing shadows. You've owned your role. You've silenced the replay. You've felt without drowning. You've rewritten your story. You've set fierce boundaries. Now it's time to seal this chapter with the truth that healing is a process. It's messy. It's nonlinear. You will stumble. You will doubt. But you will keep moving forward. Trust the process. Trust yourself. Your new life is waiting, and it's already taking shape beneath the surface of your pain. The next step is yours. Take it. Chapter 9. Trust the process. Healing is messy and nonlinear. Healing is a mess. It's not tidy. It does not come wrapped in neat packages or follow a syllabus you can study and master. You don't get to check off boxes and move on. You will stumble. You will fall back more times than you want to admit. But those setbacks, they're proof you're trying. They are not signs you're failing. You have to believe this, because when the pain drags you down again, it's easy to think you're broken. You're not. You're human. You're healing. Some days you rise. You catch glimpses of peace. Maybe you laugh a little. Maybe you even sleep through the night. You hold your head a bit higher. You remind yourself who you are beyond the almost, beyond the loss. These days are victories. Celebrate them quietly, fiercely. But then other days, it feels like you're crawling through mud. You drag yourself forward inch by inch. The weight in your chest is a boulder. The night feels endless. You want to give up. You want to scream. You want to disappear. Those days are part of the process too. Don't fight them. Don't shame yourself for them. Healing doesn't happen in a straight line. It's back and forth, this dance of progress and relapse. It's how healing works. Let that sink in. You can't force healing like you force a clenched fist to open. You have to loosen your grip and let it come in its own time. Expect setbacks. They're not failures. They're the proof that you're moving, that you're alive, that you're trying to reclaim your life from the wreckage of what never fully became. The pain will not disappear overnight, but it will soften. It will change shape. It will shift from a raw, burning wound to a dull ache in the background. And that is healing. Stop judging yourself when the wounds feel fresh again, when the memories hit like a punch in the gut, when the voice in your head whispers, "You'll never get past this." That voice is lying. You will get past it, but only if you keep going. Persistence is your greatest weapon. When you want to quit, remind yourself, persistence turns pain into power. It's in the doing, the showing up for yourself every single day, even when the weight feels unbearable. Right now, you may feel stuck, like you're spinning your wheels in the same place, like you're trapped in a loop of grief and regret. That's normal. That's expected. Healing doesn't care about your timeline or your expectations. It moves on its own clock. You don't have to understand it. You just have to trust it. Trust the process, messy and nonlinear as it is. One day, you'll look back and see how far you've come. But that day won't arrive if you give up now. If you stop trying when it gets hard. If you let the setbacks define you. You have to push through the resistance. You have to keep putting one foot in front of the other. Healing is hard, but it's worth it. You can't rush it, and you can't skip the hard parts. There will be moments when you feel like you're back at square one. When the hope you felt last week vanishes overnight. When the person you thought you were becoming disappears behind the fog of doubt. That's part of the process. Don't let those moments convince you that you're broken beyond repair. You're not. You're in the middle of healing. And healing is messy. Stop trying to control the timeline. Stop trying to predict when you'll be over it. There is no finish line. Healing is ongoing. It's a lifelong journey of learning to live with the cracks and scars without letting them define your worth or your future. You have to let go of the idea that healing looks a certain way or follows a predictable path. It doesn't. When you feel yourself slipping back, try this. Breathe. Slow down. Remind yourself that this is part of the process. Setbacks don't erase the progress you've made. They don't mean you're weak or broken. They mean you're human and you're healing. You don't need to rush. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to keep moving forward. It's okay to ask for help. Healing doesn't mean doing it all alone. Sometimes you need a friend, a therapist, a coach, someone who can hold your hand when you can't hold it yourself. Reach out. Don't isolate yourself in the dark. You don't have to carry this pain by yourself. Sharing your story, letting someone in, can be a powerful step toward healing. Remember, healing isn't about forgetting. It's about making peace with what happened. It's about accepting that this chapter ended the way it did, and choosing to write the rest of your story on your own terms. You don't have to erase the past to move forward. You just have to stop letting it control your present. Every step you take toward healing, no matter how small, is a victory. Even the days you barely get out of bed, even the days you cry until your eyes burn, even the days you feel lost, those are steps forward. They are proof you're still fighting. Proof you haven't given up on yourself. You have to hold on to that truth. When the pain feels unbearable, when the nights are the darkest, when the voice in your head threatens to drown you, hold on to this. You are healing. You are growing. You are stronger than this pain. You will get through it. The process is slow. The process is ugly. The process is nonlinear. But the process is real. Healing isn't a straight path. It's a winding road with bumps and detours. It's a series of small, often invisible victories that add up over time. Keep going anyway. You can't change the past, but you can shape your future. You don't need their apology to heal. You don't need closure, because closure is a myth sold to keep you stuck. This isn't about them anymore, it's about you. It's about reclaiming your life from the wreckage of what never became. It's about turning your pain into power. You are not alone in this. Many have walked this path before you and emerged stronger on the other side. You will too, but you have to keep moving. You have to keep trusting the process. When you feel like giving up, remember why you started. Remember the hollow space inside you that's begging to be filled not with someone else's presence, but with your own strength and self-love. Remember that almost love left scars, but scars are not flaws. They're lessons. They're proof you survived. So keep going. Keep showing up for yourself. Keep fighting for your healing, even when it's messy. Even when it feels like you're crawling. Even when you doubt yourself. Because one day, all this pain will transform. It will become the foundation of a new Yao, stronger, wiser, freer. And that day will come only if you refuse to quit. The next step in this journey is yours to claim. It's time to own your future, to choose freedom over familiar pain, to decide that your story isn't defined by what almost was, but by what you will become. Keep moving forward. You are worth it. Chapter 10. Own your future. Choose freedom over familiar pain. The pain of almost is a trap. It whispers to you in the quiet moments. It clings to what you know, what you've lived, what almost happened, but never did. It wants you to stay right there in that place between hope and heartbreak. But here's the truth you need to hear. The pain of almost tries to keep you stuck. It's a cage made of memories and what-ifs. You have to break free. You don't have to stay tethered to the ghost of what never became. It's familiar, yes, but familiar doesn't mean safe. Familiar doesn't mean healing. It only means you're holding on to something that wasn't yours to keep. The pain of almost keeps you frozen, replaying the scenes, the conversations, the moments where it felt like everything could have changed. But it didn't. And that's okay. Because your future, it's not tied to those moments. Your future is unwritten. It's blank pages waiting for you to pick up the pen, waiting for your courage to claim it. You might feel like the almost is all you have left. You might be scared to let go because the unknown is terrifying. But the unknown is the only place real freedom lives. Freedom from regret. Freedom from longing. Freedom from the past that keeps pulling you back. You're stronger than the almost. Remember that. You have to choose freedom over familiar pain. It's not an easy choice, but it's the most important one you'll make. Listen closely. The pain of almost doesn't want you to move on. It feeds on your hesitation, your doubt, your fear. It wants you to keep turning over the same memories, the same if only end, maybe next times. But the truth is, you don't get another chance at what never was. You have to stop waiting for closure that will never arrive. Closure isn't a thing someone else gives you. It's a decision you make. You don't need their apology to heal. You don't need their explanation. You need your own permission to let go. Give yourself that permission. Say it out loud if you have to. I release what was never mine to hold. Repeat it until it sinks in. The pain of almost loses its power when you stop giving it energy. When you stop turning over the past like a record stuck on the same scratch. When you choose to stop chasing shadows and start walking toward the light that's waiting for you. Your future doesn't owe you anything. It doesn't promise safety or certainty, but it does promise possibility. It's a clean slate, a fresh start, and you get to write it. You get to decide what comes next. Choose freedom. Choose yourself. Choose a life where you're not haunted by what almost happened, but by what you're building now. Let go of the stories that keep you small. The stories that tell you you're broken or less than because something didn't work out. You are whole. You are worthy. You are enough. The pain of almost tried to convince you otherwise, but it was lying. It's a lie you have to unlearn. You have to unlearn the habit of shrinking yourself to fit the space left behind. Instead, fill that space with hope. Fill it with plans for the future you deserve. Fill it with dreams you've been too afraid to chase. Your almost was a lesson, not a life sentence. It showed you where you need to grow, what you want, and what you won't settle for anymore. Use it as fuel, not chains. You have to stop thinking that moving on means forgetting. Moving on is not erasing the past. It's making peace with it. It's saying, thank you for the lesson, but I'm done holding on. This isn't about them anymore. It's about you. It's about your freedom, your growth, your future. Start by creating boundaries not just with others, but with yourself. Stop letting your mind wander back to what almost was. When the thoughts come, acknowledge them, then gently bring yourself back to the present. Practice this over and over. It's one of the hardest but most effective ways to reclaim your time and your peace. Invest in yourself relentlessly. Find small ways every day to nurture your heart and your soul. Read a book that inspires you. Take a walk and breathe deeply. Reach out to someone who supports you. Write down your feelings without judgment. These small acts of care build a foundation strong enough to hold you through the storms of healing. Trust the process, even when it's messy. Healing doesn't happen in a straight line. Some days you'll feel like you're moving forward. Other days you'll feel stuck. That's normal. Keep going anyway. Keep choosing freedom, even when it's hard. Freedom over familiar pain, freedom over regret, freedom over longing. Remember, your future is not a punishment for your past. It's a gift. It's a space where you get to rewrite the story, where you get to build a life that feels good to you. You don't have to wait for the perfect moment. You don't have to wait for someone else to be ready. You get to start right now with whatever you have. You are stronger than the almost. You are more than the pain that tried to hold you back. The past doesn't define you. Your choices do. And right now, you have the power to choose freedom. This chapter is about stepping out of the shadow of what never became and into the light of what can be. It's about owning your future with fierce courage. The next step on this journey is to protect that courage by setting fierce boundaries, because freedom isn't just about breaking chains. It's about guarding your heart so it can heal and grow. You have to let go. Stop waiting for closure. They already showed you who they are. This isn't about them anymore, it's about you. You don't need their apology to heal. You are stronger than the almost. Choose freedom. Your future is waiting. Claim it. You began this journey holding invisible grief, the loss of what could have been. But slowly, quietly, you've turned that pain into power. Each truth you've faced, each line you've drawn, each moment you've chosen yourself, that's growth. The ache of almost doesn't define you anymore. You're stepping into your own story now. Awake, aware, alive. So keep going. Keep tending to your heart. It deserves more than fragments. It deserves real, whole, fearless love. And when you live like that, everything changes.